Greetings, my name is Michael Billington. I'm a non-member who moved to the Flathead Reservation in 2012. I'm a seedsman with a focus on native plants, and I operate a nursery that specializes in perennial vegetables. Meanwhile, I research, design, and install agroecology projects, agricultural projects that operate under ecologic design. I've been partnered with Pat for a couple years now, and we've been taking steps towards creating a food sovereignty initiative on the res. Food sovereignty and climate change are massive issues, so they'll require a lot of partnership, and we've come to you in hopes of collaborating on these solutions. We believe that a locally resilient food system is one of the most accessible solutions to addressing the causes and effects of climate change. Because in truth, climate change and food sovereignty are completely inseparable. Whether it's from the mining of nutrients or the clearing of forests for farming to the transnational delivery systems and all the steps in between, the industrial food system is one of the most impacting contributors to emissions and climate change. Now, small-scale production of food is pretty much the exact opposite. It's efficient, it's reliable, it optimizes the use of increasingly rare resources, and climate change is ultimately the result of unwise use of resources. So it would make sense that a wise use of resources will lead to immediate benefit. Further demonstrating the inseparability between climate change and food sovereignty is the fact that in volatile climates full of extreme weather, food security becomes one of the most critical issues for humans and communities. It becomes hard to try and generate solutions to global dilemmas when your family is having a hard time finding enough food. And this is becoming an increasingly common reality for tens of millions of people around the world from these climatic events. So regional, small-scale food sovereignty initiatives remedy some of the major causes to climate change by minimizing the resource use and sequestering carbon. At the same time, these initiatives safeguard our farms and communities from some of the disastrous climatic effects like drought and extreme precipitation. And this helps us to limit the food scarcity that's often caused by those events. So if this is what we're proposing, we got to ask, how does a local food sovereignty initiative minimize resource use, sequester carbon, and exhibit resilience to the extreme weather? The main way is we start with a relatively small but significant farm in this valley that mimics a forest and its many benefits. It'll range from less fuel usage and less inputs and less soil damage, with more diversity and more wildlife benefits and way more adaptability. In general, farms are major net contributors to carbon, but with a small tweak in their design, they absorb significant amounts of carbon, just like a forest. Forests are some of nature's most productive and resilient and adaptable ecosystems. They are also the single greatest mechanism for sequestering carbon that Earth has come up with. Modeling a food sovereignty initiative farm after forests could help us harness the multitudinous ecologic and productive benefits of forests. You know, we hear so much about carbon being in excess and being bad, but it's not that carbon's bad, it's just imbalance. So if we could model our farms after forests, then we can transmute that excess carbon into food. Imagine an orchard that grows perennial and annual vegetables in between fruit and nut trees that are varying heights. A forest farm is able to utilize most of the things that harm annual farms that require replanting every year. Forest farms absorb and utilize climatic events like excess solar radiation and flooding, as well as extreme wind and precipitation events. Basically, from their canopies and their deep roots, forests are nearly immune to drought and erosion and some of the main negative impacts from volatile climates. So that's our goal, creating a large-scale production system like this. And it would be one of the most comprehensive ways to shield our communities from the impacts of climate change. At the same time, it creates a system that empowers us by taking immediate and tangible action towards implementing long-term global solutions. This matter of lack of food sovereignty and climatic devastation is often the solutions to it are often very abstract, and it's hard to keep morale high when people are saying, what can we do to actually address this? Well, implementing local food forest agricultural systems is a very tangible way. It buffers us from the results of climate change as well as addresses the issues that are causing it. It's like feeding two birds with one seed. So basically, we come to you hoping to partner with each of you in promoting and implement a food sovereignty initiative on the res, so we can address climate change locally and globally, immediately, and for the long term. Hope you enjoy your time with Pat. Thanks for listening, and take care.